In April 2026, a team at Anthropic left their AI model running overnight with one instruction: find a vulnerability in Mozilla Firefox and write a working exploit. They came back the next morning to a complete functional exploit. They ran the test again and again. By the end, the model had produced 181 working exploits. The previous version of the same model had managed two. They called the model Claude Mythos Preview, and they decided not to release it to the public. Mythos is not a cybersecurity tool. Anthropic did not build it to hack things. It is a general-purpose language model, built to be broadly capable at reasoning, coding, and complex tasks. But when the research team began testing it, what they found was not what they expected. The same improvements that made Mythos better at writing code also made it better at finding flaws in code. The same improvements that made it better at reasoning also made it better at chaining those flaws into working attacks. The red team found that Mythos can identify and exploit zero-day vulnerabilities, meaning flaws that have never been publicly disclosed, in every major operating system and every major web browser. Not trivial bugs, the kind that take elite human researchers years to find. One of the most striking finds was a 27-year-old flaw in OpenBSD, an operating system that has spent its entire existence being audited specifically for security. The bug lived in the kernel's implementation of a TCP network optimization called SACK. Finding it required Mythos to identify two separate interacting bugs, then recognize that a signed integer overflow triggered by crafted network packets could combine them into a condition that crashes the machine remotely. OpenBSD patched it. The find was genuine. Mythos also found a 16-year-old vulnerability buried in FFmpeg's H.264 video codec, software that processes video for nearly every major internet platform. On FreeBSD, it independently wrote a remote code execution exploit that chains 20 separate operations across multiple network packets to grant root access to any unauthenticated user targeting an NFS server. In a browser test, it chained 4 separate vulnerabilities to build an exploit that escaped both the browser renderer and the operating system sandbox simultaneously. The Firefox benchmark tells the story clearly. The previous Claude model, Opus 4.6, was given the same Firefox vulnerabilities and told to develop exploits. It succeeded twice out of several hundred attempts. Mythos succeeded 181 times. The UK's AI Safety Institute separately tested Mythos on expert-level hacking tasks that no AI model could complete at all prior to April 2026. Mythos completed them 73% of the time. Anthropic decided not to release Mythos through its standard API. Instead, they launched Project Glasswing, a restricted program giving access to a small number of trusted organizations to use Mythos defensively, scanning critical software for vulnerabilities before attackers with comparable tools could find the same flaws first. Founding partners included AWS, Apple, Google, Microsoft, Cisco, CrowdStrike, NVIDIA, JP Morgan Chase, Palo Alto Networks, and the Linux Foundation. More than 40 organizations joined the initial program. Across those partners, Mythos found over 10,000 high or critical severity vulnerabilities. Independent security firms confirmed 90.6% of those findings as genuine. That voluntary arrangement did not last long before the US government stepped in. On June 9, 2026, Anthropic launched a second powerful model called Fable 5. Researchers at Amazon, one of Anthropic's largest investors, discovered a method to bypass Fable 5's safety restrictions that could allow a user to extract information useful for staging a cyber attack. Amazon's CEO Andy Jassy happened to be on a scheduled call with White House officials on June 11th. He raised the concern, and in doing so, brought the capabilities of frontier AI models broadly into the administration's focus. 2 days later, Commerce Secretary Howard Lutnick sent Anthropic an unprecedented directive. Mythos 5 and Fable 5 were to be placed under immediate export controls. No access for anyone outside the United States. No access for foreign nationals within the country. No exceptions without specific government approval. By 10 p.m. on June 13th, Anthropic had taken both models fully offline for every customer worldwide, including its own paying API users. Anthropic CEO Dario Amodei disputed the framing publicly. He described the jailbreak as narrow in scope and argued the same bypass could be achieved using other widely available models, none of which were being restricted. The administration did not move. Its concern was not the specific bypass. It was the underlying capabilities. On June 26th, the government moved toward a partial resolution. Commerce Secretary Lutnick wrote to Anthropic's Chief Compute Officer, Tom Brown, confirming that Mythos 5 could be redeployed to approximately 100 approved U.S. companies and federal agencies, specifically those operating and defending critical infrastructure. Fable 5 remained restricted. Talks on Fable were described as ongoing. The partial restoration was framed by officials as conditional, not permanent, and dependent on Anthropic maintaining agreed safeguards. The episode revealed something significant about how governments are starting to think about powerful AI. The question was no longer just about what a model was designed to do. It was about what it could do in the wrong hands, regardless of intent. Anthropic also extended access to open source projects through the Linux Foundation's Alpha Omega security program. That is where the curl case study becomes the most instructive part of this story. Curl is a data transfer library running in an estimated 20 billion devices. Every smartphone, smart TV, game console, and web server on Earth. It has been continuously audited for over 25 years by hundreds of contributors. The curl maintainer, Daniel Stenberg, accepted Mythos access through Alpha Omega and had the model scanned against 178,000 lines of curl source code. Mythos reported 5 confirmed security vulnerabilities. The curl security team reviewed each one. 3 were false positives, issues already documented as intended behavior in the API. 1 was classified as just a bug, not a security flaw. 1 was confirmed as a genuine vulnerability. Severity: low. Plan for disclosure alongside curl 8.21.0. Stenberg's own conclusion was direct. In his words, the big hype around this model was primarily marketing. He also said something equally important. AI code analyzers are significantly better at finding security flaws than any traditional tool that came before them. Mythos, on a hardened, continuously audited codebase, found 1 low-severity flaw. Mythos, on less audited codebases, found thousands of critical ones. What curl demonstrates is the limit of what Mythos can achieve against software that has been continuously improved by hundreds of contributors for decades. That limit is real. What it also demonstrates is that most software in the world is not curl. The broader picture is a race. Mythos can scan code at a scale no human team can match, find subtle multi-component vulnerabilities in days, and write functional exploits without human help. Right now, that capability is restricted to Glasswing partners. That same capability in broader hands changes the economics of the entire field. Defenders who can use tools like this first and patch before attackers find the same flaws gain a genuine advantage. Organizations that do not close that window hand the advantage to whoever arrives second. Anthropic has said openly that they expect the long-term advantage to belong to defenders. The short-term is less certain. That is why Project Glasswing exists and why this moment matters. If you are someone who wants to understand how the digital world actually works, hit subscribe. We break down the concepts behind the headlines every week. Sci-Flix. Digital mysteries. Real stories.